Welcome to another episode of Wham Baam Gamercam, full of crazy car crashes from various video games. Grab your snacks, hit the like button, and enjoy. Richard was driving home from work. He drove through a village and called his wife. He would be home soon. Suddenly, one car was overtaking in the blind curve, and Richard crashed head-on with the overtaking vehicle. Both cars were totaled, and the drivers were transported to the hospital. Some dude was speeding through the Los Santos downtown in his sports car. As he went over the narrow road, he caught air, lost control, and hit a lamp before he crashed into the bridge construction. He then fell back on the road from the bridge construction, landing on the wheels. Liam was driving his Italian supercar from the 90s. He saw two cars colliding with each other, and one of them blocked his lane. He slammed on the brakes and maneuvered to avoid hitting them, but he hit them before he hit a jump, and he rolled over on his roof. He slid multiple yards before he came to a complete stop. Mr. Krister was driving at high speed on River State Highway. As he was flying past vehicles, he saw a car in his lane as he was driving through a curve. He slammed on the brakes, lost control, and crashed into the car at high speed. His car was destroyed and totaled. Alfred Driver was driving on Shutoko Highway at night. A driver ahead of him fell asleep and crashed head-on into concrete barriers. Thankfully, our submitter was quick enough to stop in time and avoid hitting the vehicle. Alan sent us this footage from his security cam. His parked pickup truck was rear-ended by an SUV. The police were contacted, and Alan is currently driving a rental while his truck is getting fixed. Leander was comfortably driving until he lost control. Suddenly, Autopilot accelerated too much on a mountain and his car crashed into a wall. His car was totaled. Trunk Puppet was racing in NASCAR Heat 5. Suddenly, he made contact with a racer in the inside lane. This made him lose control, and he hit a racer in the outside lane before he spun out. DevTV2 was driving in the industrial site of Belasco City. Suddenly, a gray sedan failed to yield to him. DevTV2 slammed on the brakes before he T-boned the gray sedan. His car was totaled, and the police were called to figure everything out. Crusher 23 was driving a bus downtown. As he ran a red light, he crashed into an orange sports car. He called the police. The red sports car had $14,000 in damage. Jarrett and his friend were street racing. Jarrett was in the Lamborghini Aventador and his friend drove the Ford Mustang. They bumped into each other at 224 miles per hour, which caused Jarrett to lose control before he crashed into a tree. His friend pulled over and called the police. Jarrett was immediately taken to the hospital, and damages on his car came up to $155,000. It was a snowy and icy day. On this kind of day, Crusher 23 was driving his red wagon. Suddenly, he failed to yield to a BMW driver who hit him and pushed him into an oncoming pickup truck. The pickup truck was a total loss. The BMW damages came up to $2,500 and Crusher's car was totaled. Calfrick was speeding in his red Porsche 992. As he approached a curve, he was confident about speeding through it, but he was going too fast and he ended up crashing into the guardrails. This submitter was approaching an intersection when a Guardrail vertex ran a stop sign before it T-boned our submitter. His car was then totaled. Never overestimate your driving skills. That's what Halt said after he saw this crash. An oncoming vehicle lost control in the curve before it crashed head-on with the vehicle in front of Halt. Halt slammed on the brakes before he crashed into them. Revens was pulled over because of a car that had a flat tire. He was trying to help the other person when suddenly a drunk driver smashed into them. Both cars were hit and received major damages. This dude Andrew sent us security cam footage of a tunnel that recorded a very expensive wreck. Supercars were street racing before one of them lost control and hit the guardrails before two other racers crashed into him. They came to a complete stop after they crashed into the border checkpoint. Angelo was driving a yellow muscle car in Johnson Valley. As he juiced the gas pedal, he lost control and crashed into an electric pole. Emergency units arrived shortly after, and he was transported to a hospital. He survived thanks to a roll cage he'd installed in the car. Lil Tank was waiting at an intersection watching a cop turning right. As he rolled into the intersection, he failed to yield to a high-speed approaching vehicle. He got T-boned and thrown multiple meters away. Range Rover 69 was pulled over down a highway with his crewmates. Suddenly, a cement truck lost control in the oncoming lanes before it crashed into the concrete barriers, rolled over, and crushed all the cars of our submitter's crew. Range Rover 69 was the only one that managed to avoid getting hit by a cement truck. Baldy F was attempting a stunt with his supercar in a Lego world that was in Forza Horizon 4. Look how perfectly he landed on the wheels after he did that jump. Weiricle was driving in the Belasco countryside. As he went through a curve, he lost control before he crashed into the trailer. Thankfully, it was just a bump and nobody was injured. Christian was calmly enjoying a ride in his Mercedes EQE. He saw a roadblock on the road, and what he saw after stopping was incredible. Reckless drivers approached, got out of their cars, and started fighting with cops. What mayhem in Greenville! James was pulled over by a cop on Belasco Highway. Suddenly, they got hit by a reckless driver that hit a jump and flew into them. The police car was destroyed, and James' car was repairable. Note Bullets was driving at high speed in his VW Jetta. He entered a neighborhood before he realized he was going too fast. He hit the brakes, lost control, and crashed into a lamppost before he came to a complete stop. Comatome sent us this clip of him flying a plane. Suddenly, his engines failed and his plane started being uncontrollable. It didn't take long before the plane pitched down and crashed into the ground. Joseph got into a really bad situation. Let's see what happened. He was stuck on the side of a cliff before he slid down and started rolling over. Thankfully, his car protected him and it managed to stop rolling over. Alex was driving at high speed in the downtown of Velasco City. He went over a narrow road and caught air before he lost control and crashed into the electric pole and building. He got arrested for reckless driving. 992 ST was leaving Chinatown after a good lunch. As he went into an intersection, the BMW driver failed to yield to him and they collided. Both cars were totaled. This submitter was racing in Asphalt 8. He saw an epic crash of his opponents. They crashed into the tunnel support, causing them to explode.